Okay, here's the translation of your text into English, keeping the bracketed terms exactly as they are. ## Special Report, Middle East Crisis, War Erupts, US and Israel retaliate with Iranian strike operations, severely impacting global economy. Solemn and tense news music. Anchor *. Hello viewers, I'm Anchor's name, and welcome to our special report tonight. The crisis in the Middle East has escalated to an unprecedented level. The response between Iran, Israel, and the United States has led to ongoing attacks and concerns about a wider conflict, with potential economic repercussions impacting the entire globe. We will delve into the current situation, the ensuing financial impacts, and philosophical perspectives on what is happening. Graphic map of the Middle East highlighting incident locations. Anchor * starting with an overview of the global situation. Overnight, Israeli operations resulted in the death of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei of Iran, according to reports from BBC News. This event is considered a trigger that sparked full-scale conflict. The United States and Israel have retaliated with strike operations targeting infrastructure within Iran, followed by a strong response from Iran. Satellite image of oil refinery fires in UAE. Anchor * Iran has responded continuously, attacking energy infrastructure in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. There are also reports of Iranian drone attacks on Tehran oil refineries and ports in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, causing fires and disruptions to maritime transport. Claims have also been made of an attack on Iraqi oil tankers. Karg Island, a significant resource area for Iran, has been directly targeted by U.S. forces to destroy military targets. Graphic showing global trade routes through the Hormuz Strait. Anchor *. A particularly worrying concern is the security of the Hormuz Strait, a vital route for crude oil transport to global markets. There are reports that Iran may attempt to close or obstruct navigation in the strait. This creates immense pressure on global energy prices, with crude oil prices rising to unprecedented levels. Some reports indicate as high as $106 US and others forecasting it could surge to $200 US. It is also impacting commercial aviation globally, forcing airlines to reroute flights to avoid conflict zones. Photograph of former President Donald Trump. Anchor * Former U.S. President Donald Trump has commented on the situation, stating that it's happening faster than anticipated and calling for countries such as China, Japan, South Korea, and India to send warships to protect the Hormuz Strait. There are also reports he threatened to set a one-month deadline to end the conflict in response to the death of U.S. troops. Graphic showing conflict zones in the Middle East. Anchor * The violence is not limited to Iran, Israel, and the United States but has spread to other regions. There have been clashes between Israeli forces and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Additionally, there was a drone attack in Dubai, demonstrating that the conflict is expanding continuously. Latest reports indicate approximately 140 U.S. troops have been injured. Photograph of leaders praying together. Anchor * International reactions are concerning. Russia has been accused of sharing intelligence with Iran. Countries in Asia, such as South Korea, are expressing anxiety and assessing the impact on their economies. Banks in the United Kingdom and the United States report they are closing operations in the Middle East due to increased tensions. There have been reports of attacks on U.S. embassy offices and oil refineries, as well as missile launches towards Tel Aviv and Tehran. Graphic showing global energy prices. Anchor * It's crucial to emphasize the risk of escalation. There is a possibility that other actors will be drawn into the conflict, which could intensify the violence. Disruptions in energy supply have a severe impact on the global economy, and this conflict is causing distress and suffering for people in affected regions. News music shifts to a more intense tone. Anchor * We now move to our second segment where we will delve deeper into the financial impacts stemming from this crisis to allow viewers to understand the risks and opportunities that may arise in the global financial markets in detail. News music fades slightly. Segment 2, In-Depth Financial Analysis. Anchor * The Middle East crisis is impacting the global economy in many dimensions. changes in crude oil prices are only part of the problem. We will consider the impact on financial markets and businesses in detail. Graphic showing key economic figures. Anchor * rising energy prices are increasing the costs of producing goods and services, which will affect global inflation. Transportation companies will face higher costs, leading to more expensive freight rates, forcing consumers to bear an increased burden. However, changes in crude oil prices also create opportunities for some energy companies, particularly U.S. net profit producers who may benefit from high prices. Graphic showing stock market movements. Anchor * global stock markets are experiencing extreme volatility. Investors are selling off risky assets such as stocks and moving into safe haven assets like bonds, which is driving bond prices up and interest rates down. Economic indicators such as the Dow Jones Industrial Average, Nasdaq, and FTSE 100 are all falling sharply. Investors are assessing risks and uncertainties in the market. Graphic showing foreign exchange rates. Anchor * foreign exchange rates are also being affected. The US dollar is likely to strengthen as investors seek safe haven assets during times of crisis. The currencies of other countries may weaken, particularly those that rely on oil revenues or have close ties to Iran or Israel. Exchange rate changes impact international trade and investment. Graphic showing the balance sheets of multinational corporations. Anchor * multinational corporations operating in the Middle East are facing significant challenges. Disruptions to production, transportation, and trade may affect the revenue and profits of these companies. Companies that have invested in energy infrastructure or have futures contracts may suffer heavy losses. Graphic showing GDP figures for various countries. Anchor * the gross domestic product, GDP, gross domestic product, of many countries may be affected by this crisis, particularly those that heavily rely on trade and tourism. Countries with economic ties to Iran and Israel may face recession if the situation does not ease. Graphic showing diversification. Anchor * during times of crisis, diversification is a key strategy for investors and businesses. Investing in a variety of assets and diversifying production bases across regions will help reduce risk and increase resilience in dealing with unexpected situations. In addition, strict risk management, and contingency planning are essential. News music fades slightly. Anchor * we now move to our final segment where we will summarize the situation and present insights from a philosophical perspective to allow viewers to see a broader picture and understand the true meaning of what is happening. News music shifts to a calmer tone. Segment 3, a Buddhist philosophical perspective. Anchor * this Middle East crisis serves as a reminder of the uncertainty of the world and the fragility of the global economy. Responding with violence and force is merely addressing the symptom, not creating sustainable peace and security. Image of a Buddha statue. Anchor * Buddhist teachings teach us to understand the reality of life, known as suffering. Suffering arises from greed, anger, and delusion. Competition for personal gain and the pursuit of power lead to distress for oneself and others. Image of a peaceful natural landscape. Anchor * sustainable solutions must begin with an internal shift. Training the mind in compassion, loving kindness, and wisdom to understand the interconnectedness of all things and empathize with others. Patience, sacrifice, and negotiation are essential tools.